The flotilla's a joke.
Today, from
sorry,
Algeria,
I'm sorry.
Morocco. This is the
The
first time
flotilla was a joke, a publicity.
About the flotilla, not
it
Gaza?
was an attention-seeking publicity stunt that was designed to raise attention for Greta Thunberg. Nobody else. No one in Gaza has benefited from this ridiculous stuff.
Peter, hold on to that thought, because I'm going to explain to you when we get home all the things that are wrong with that statement.
Abu Obaida, who is the spokesperson for the military wing of Hamas, the Al-Qassam Brigades, has put out a speech recently that I really think is worth a listen. It's about 20 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I did listen to it. And I have some clips that I think really highlight some of the more important parts of the speech that I want to play for you guys. Let's dive right in. And this is a great time to remind you to subscribe if you like this kind of content and help us hit 1,000 subscribers. We're going to start a little bit deep into the speech. He starts talking about the failure of Arab nations when it comes to the genocide in Gaza. And now I know I am not the only one who has been watching these with such contempt and just not so much confusion because you know what's going on, but maybe disbelief, because how much is too much for you guys, at least for the Arab nations, at least for the Muslims of the world, at least. And look, full disclosure, I'm not a religious person, but I was raised in a Muslim household. And it's astonishing to me because you know how if you watch that kind of content online, you know how passionate Muslim people are about defending the faith, defending the word of the Quran and all of these things. And it's just, I really thought there would have been a bigger reaction. But anyhow, let Abu Obaida put it in his own words, and it was posted by One Indian News with a very good translation.
وإننا نقول للتاريخ وبكل مرارة وألم وأمام كل أبناء أمتنا: يا قادة هذه الأمة الإسلامية والعربية، ويا نخبها وأحزابها الكبيرة، ويا علماءها، أنتم خصومنا أمام الله عز وجل. أنتم خصوم كل طفل يتيم وكل ثكلى وكل نازح ومشرد ومكلوم وجريح ومجوع. إن رقابكم مثقلة بدماء عشرات الآلاف من الأبرياء الذين خذلوا بصمتكم. وإن هذا العدو المجرم النازي لم يكن ليرتكب هذه الإبادة على مسمعكم ومرآكم إلا وقد أمن العقوبة وضمن الصمت واشترى الخذلان. لا نعفي أحدا من مسؤولية هذا الدم النازف، ولا نستثني أحدا ممن يملك التحرك، كل بحسب قدرته وتأثيره. فوالله إنا لنرى الهوان واستحقار العدو لأمتنا واستباحتها وعربدته فيها، وتنزف قلوبنا ألما لأننا ندرك جبن وضعف وذل هذا العدو وحجمه الحقيقي، وندرك قبل ذلك الحقيقة الإلهية فيه. لأنتم أشد رهبة في صدورهم من الله. لو أنه قوبل بعزة الإسلام من أهله ونخوة العروبة المضيعة، ولكنه الوهن، وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. أما تستطيع أمة كبيرة عظيمة مجيدة أن تدخل طعاما وماء ودواء للمجوعين والمحاصرين في شعب غزة، وأن توقف شلال دمائهم الذي يهدر إرهابا لأمتنا وطمعا في كسرها من أجل إقامة إمبراطورية صهيونية على أرض العروبة والإسلام، عاصمتها قبلتكم الأولى ومسرى نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم، أو ربما أنقاضه، فلا نامت أعين الجبناء. في المقابل فإننا نتوجه بالتحية لشعبنا العزيز المبارك في يمن الحكمة والإيمان، ولقواته المسلحة، ولإخوان الصدق أنصار الله الذين أذهلوا العالم بثباتهم وصدق مواقفهم مع فلسطين وغزة وأهلها ومجاهديها، وفرضوا على العدو جبهة فاعلة أقامت الحجة الدامغة على القاعدين والخانعين من أنظمة وقوى وأحزاب عربية وإسلامية كبيرة، بات بعضها للأسف واجهات للظلم ومسكنات للشعوب وشبابها الحر، وباتت مصداقيتها وشعاراتها الكبيرة على المحك أمام خذلانها وعجزها في نصرة أطهر وأقدس قضية للعرب والمسلمين. والتحية لكل الأحرار في العالم الذين يحاولون التضامن وكسر الحصار ورفع الظلم عن شعبنا بكل السبل، متجاهلين المخاطر والخذلان ومحاولات التشويه من منافقي الأمة الذين يحسبون كل صيحة عليهم. وإن كل مبادرات وتضامن الأحرار في العالم.
This is something that I've been wanting to hear, right? And it is so It is one of the worst parts of this genocide because geographically where it's happening, surrounded by so many powerful Muslim countries, to just sit back and allow the children of Gaza to go through that is one of the most disgusting things. And you don't have to be a Muslim to feel that way. You don't have to be someone who was raised by Muslims to feel that way. I've been online. Everybody's asking these questions. Everybody is asking these questions. You have these frigging Saudis and these Dubai people, these UAE people, these Jordanians dripped in gold. Okay, you see their foreign affairs events, all of their public events. Everything is so lavish. So like the jewelry on one of their guests could probably feed Gaza for a month. And so it has been truly disturbing, especially President Sisi of Egypt. It said that he fucking hates Gazans, okay, or Palestinians. And that was a rumor that I hadn't confirmed, but actions speak louder than words. And I think it's true. It was at his borders that people were pleading with the Egyptian military, please let us pass through the Sinai so we can deliver aid. White people, Europeans, begging Muslims, please let me go and save other Muslims. It is a humiliation that will follow these leaders to their end. There is no escaping this. There is not a tower you can build, not a desert that you can make green again, that will ever take this off of your record as the main thing you fail to accomplish. Well, I guess the accomplishment's a genocide, and you failed to prevent it. So hearing it from somebody who's in the thick of it, who is leading the resistance, and whatever you want to think about Hamas, I'm not here to condone or condemn them, but I do know that if I were in a Palestinian's position, that I would go far if my family were going through anything like what the people of Gaza are going through. And you would be able to call me a terrorist, whatever. That's just vocabulary, man. Like, these are people who are resisting the worst of the worst of the worst of human conditions. And it's being taken into its end stages here. So now is not the time to be quiet about it or to be, polite about how you're describing the people who are trying to resist this nonsense. So on to his next point here. He's going to be talking about Zionists and how they've been using these slogans and how they've been using anti-Semitism to absolutely demolish the careers and the futures of people who want to stand up for the Palestinian cause. Abu Obaida thanks people who have protested, who have demonstrated, who have done anything to support the Palestinian cause, whether it is successful or not.
The flotilla's a joke. I'm sorry. The flotilla was a joke, a publicity. It was an attention-seeking publicity stunt that was designed to raise attention for Greta Thunberg. Nobody else, no one in Gaza has benefited from this ridiculous stuff.
Peter, hold on to that thought, because I'm going to explain to you when we get home all the things that are wrong with that statement.
وإن كل مبادرات وتضامن الأحرار في العالم سواء نجحت أو أجهضت بإملاءات من الصهاينة لهي محط فخر واعتزاز من شعبنا.
And I hope Piers Morgan sees that part, because he was on his show foaming at the mouth over Greta Thunberg getting a sandwich after she was kidnapped, talking about, oh, you shouldn't say you were kidnapped because, Israelis were kidnapped. Well, fuck that. She was kidnapped by Israelis. And he was insisting to the world that no, nothing that she's doing is ever going to help. Gazans couldn't care less about this. It's all performative nonsense, But here you are, from the leader of the resistance, letting you know that everything that we do, all of our efforts, all of our encampments, all of our boycotting, all of our protests, all of our marches, every act of defiance, Palestinian resistance from the UK to Canada to Africa, everywhere, is something that has bolstered the hearts and the spirits of people who otherwise feel abandoned. The leaders have abandoned them, but the people have not. And when nothing else is coming through, that message of positivity is probably one of the last things that you have to hold on to. So in your face, Piers Morgan, trying to tell people that what we're doing and what Greta was doing was useless. So yeah, that's him around the 12:45 mark, talking about how he's grateful for the people that are riding with him and calling for us to increase our action and to escalate it. So more of the Bob villains he's calling for, more of Palestinian action that went and spray painted fighter jet, more of Toronto's protests, more of everybody's everything, because there are reports now that I haven't had a chance to deep dive read that are saying that people are reaching the 5th stage of malnutrition, which is an irreversible stage that you cannot come back from. If you guys recall from a video that we did not that long ago talking about what happens to you when you're starving, when you reach this part physically, it doesn't even matter if you were like sat down at a feast from now until forever, you're not going to be able to recover from what has physically happened to you. And there are children who are dealing with this, and this is by design. So miss me with any pearl clutching at this point. Moving on to around 13 minutes and 15 seconds in, he mentions that he offered a comprehensive deal to Netanyahu to bring home the Israeli hostages, right? The thing that they keep lying to us about what this war is about, bring home the hostages, even though we saw them mow down their own hostages wearing nothing and waving white flags.
وإننا عرضنا مرارا خلال الأشهر الأخيرة عقد صفقة شاملة نسلم فيها كل أسر العدو دفعة واحدة، لكن مجرم الحرب نتنياهو ووزراءه من الحركة النازية رفضوا هذا العرض، وتبين لنا أنهم ليسوا معنيين بالأسرى كونهم من الجنود.
Abu Obaida is exposing that he has offered a comprehensive deal to bring the hostages home, but Netanyahu said, no, thank you. He would rather use them as propaganda to increase the war effort, to continue to get the sympathy of people all over the world, talking about, just lay down your arms and bring home the hostages. Well, they don't want the fucking hostages. Okay, newsflash, it's been 2 years. These are the same people that with precision can throw a fucking rocket into somebody's bedroom. They don't want the hostages back. They are way more useful to them as hostages. Well, I should call them prisoners of war because it's just IDF soldiers left now. They are way more useful to them as POWs than they are being brought back home, because once the hostages are out, what are you doing in Gaza is going to be the question. Well, then we got to stay around until Hamas is defeated and we, de-radicalize their ideology and blah, 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 and police their thought. And what do you know? All of them had to leave. Moving on. At the 15-minute mark, about 15 minutes, 15 seconds in, he dropped some bars here talking about a comparison between Israelis who are like Zionist Israelis, Zionist evangelical, all Zionists, because, let's not forget that most Zionists in the world are actually Christians, but talking about what the Zionist project is doing now and comparing it to Nazi Germany. And I think, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. So let me let him speak for himself. Let's listen to this.
وكأن هذا العدو يريد أن يجتر تجارب وقعت قبل عقود طويلة ويسقطها على أعدائه بسادية وإجرام تتصاغر أمامه النازية، والذي يستدعي رفض العالم كله لهذه المعسكرات، وإلا فإن أكذوبة معاداة السامية التي يقتات عليها أعداؤنا منذ عقود ستكون مهزلة وفضيحة. فليس ذنب شعبنا أن يدفع ثمن العقد النفسية للصهيونية المجرمة، بل على الصهاينة أن يعلموا أن سبب عداوة الأمم وكرهها الفطري لهم هو أفعالهم وجرائمهم بحق الإنسانية. خامسا، إن محاولات توظيف مرتزقة وعملاء للاحتلال بأسماء عربية هي دلالة.
Do not move forward with these camps. Otherwise, the lies of anti-Semitism our enemies have fed on for decades will become a farce and a scandal. Facts. The eloquentness of this man's language, whatever else you think of him, I'm not talking about his character, but his language and the way he's speaking. I mean, compare that to Donald Trump, man. Come on. So I'm going to leave it there. I think I hit some of the juicier parts of the speech, but honestly, every bit of it is important for the historical record, for the content of it, for the message. He talks about the fact that they're going to continue to hunt Israeli soldiers to create more prisoners of war, perhaps to increase the pressure on Israel. And you know what? Israel is holding hundreds, if not thousands, of Palestinian children in military detentions. And we already know what happens in Israeli prisons. We've seen it 4K how many times. So when people are talking about, oh my God, he's going to go after more hostages. He said he's going to go kidnap more soldiers who are baby killers. Well, shut the up. If you are not asking for the Palestinian children to be returned, which you are not, because it wasn't a conversation before October 7th, and those kids have been in there for years. And in the last 2 years, everyone who's been in those prisons has been facing the rage, the internalized humiliation of all those IDF soldiers who got by October 7th, by an entire country who got by Al-Aqsa flood, by this man right here. So who knows what they are dealing with? Meanwhile, he's over here assuring us that despite Israel's every effort to do otherwise, they're keeping the hostages or prisoners of war safe in Gaza, moving them around, making sure they're safe. Meanwhile, doctors are quitting in Israel after seeing what's happened to Palestinian prisoners. Like, these are people who are wartime doctors who are seeing the condition of Palestinian prisoners and just coming to God and saying, no, I'm done. I'm leaving. I renounce my citizenship. You think it's a joke? I'm telling you the truth. Anyhow, if you like this kind of reporting and you haven't already, help us hit 1,000 subscribers and hit subscribe. Bread in Captivity, out.